Friday edition of the show. Good to be with you. SportsMap Radio, our stations across the country, tuning in wherever you may be, and anywhere you want to be with the SportsMap Radio app. We got a lot to do over the next 3 hours, a lot to cover. We've made it through the most boring Super Bowl week ever. Let's just say it. This was the most boring Super Bowl week in the history of Super Bowls. I know that's a bit hyperbolic, and I am not one that is wont for hyperbole, but this was the most boring Super Bowl week ever. There's just no getting around it. It was terrible. There was nothing to talk about as far as the game was concerned. Thank God the NBA rescued this week. Thank God that everybody lost their minds and decided to trade every player on their roster to another team. It's kind of what happened. It's fun. It's only half a joke. The rest of it's real. We got a game finally on Sunday, and you know, now that it's almost here, I mean, I have to be honest, I have not been excited all week for the Super Bowl. Because there just hasn't been a lot of build. There hasn't been anything to get crazy excited about. But now that it's almost here, now I'm like, come on. It really is. I wish they would address this. And I know, getting all the players healthy is nice and all that. But 2 long weeks. And it'll still do a huge number. It'll get huge ratings. All of that is, nobody's going to dispute any of that. But you just feel like some of the air has come out of this game with such a boring 2 weeks surrounding it. Usually there's buildup, there's something, there's words. I mean, the closest thing I was able to find with regard to any animosity between these teams was Nick Sirianni going boo-hoo because Andy Reid let him go when he took over the Chiefs in 2014? I mean, that's the closest thing I could find to like a grudge. I hold it against him a little, which is the dumbest thing ever, by the way. I can't believe he let me go. I was part of the former staff. Yeah, because when a new coach comes in, that's what he wants, entrenched management. He wants an old entrenched employee who knows more than he does. Yeah, that's exactly what Andy Reid was thinking. Yeah, I want to have that guy. And Nick Sirianni's done all right for himself. There's so much, like I said, to me, this is sort of one of those legacy Super Bowls. That's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like, I don't know. It doesn't have the same feel. And I cannot put my finger on the one thing that makes it feel this way. And I'm curious to know what you guys think throughout the show. Hey, tonight's the night. Get in your Super Bowl predictions, too. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. And if you want to tweet at the show, go ahead and do that, too. At the back page. Again, you hit me up on Twitter. I'll hit you back. At the back page. I want to know what everybody's prediction is. We will do the official Pages picks later on in the show. We will be joined by our good friend Nick Ferguson, who's actually at a party somewhere in Phoenix and says he'll step out of that party to come on the show with us 25 minutes from now. So Nick Ferguson will be a part of the show tonight, this Super Bowl Eve show. I'm also going to tell you about, we've got a fantastic live special broadcast of the Cash In. It's called the Cash In Countdown to Kickoff. It's on Sunday. We're going to do it from the Desert Diamond Casino in the West Valley. It's in Glendale. It's literally like in the shadow of State Farm Stadium. And we're going to be doing a live broadcast there from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. 1 to 4 p.m. Phoenix time for our friends listening on KDUS in Phoenix, our fantastic affiliate there. We're going to be there at Desert Diamond Casino, and you can be there too. Here's how you do it. If you're not on the invite list, I don't know, maybe they're inviting high rollers. if you make any wager of $200 or more at the sports book, if you make a wager of $200 or more, you get an invite to go to this party. It's a Super Bowl watch party. It's from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. local time in the Phoenix area. And you will have the opportunity to hang out, come say hi to me. Maybe we'll even put you on the air. Who knows? Come by, say hello. There's going to be food, drinks, a whole bunch of current and former NFL players are going to be there. Rondale Moore is going to be there from the Cardinals. Ed Reed is going to be there. Former NBA standout Cedric Ceballos is going to be there. Eric Dickerson, the great Eric Dickerson, is going to be there. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. Really looking forward to it. And there's going to be all sorts of prizes and giveaways thanks to our friends at Play for Tickets, including the chance to win moolah. Lots of moolah. Free chances to win moolah at this party. So you're going to want to do it. If you're heading out to Desert Diamond Casino or if you're in the area, make sure to come and check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, we will be on the air live across the country on many of these same SportsMap Radio affiliates and a few more that maybe haven't heard the show, which will be kind of cool. And we'll be on again 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Mountain Time, which is what Phoenix is on right now. So really looking forward to that. Tom Brady officially retired today. Put in for his paperwork. Said, I am officially retired. He officially retired with the league, which allows him to now get the benefits from the NFL Players Association. Why don't I still buy it, though? Why? I just cannot buy it yet. I'm not letting it go. And I'm not one of these people that's like a Tom Brady sycophant. I've never really been a Tom Brady fan, so to speak. I respect the hell out of the guy, but I've never been a fan because I grew up in Connecticut and I was a New York Giants fan. We couldn't stand the Patriots. But I'm trying to figure out why I just don't believe it. Even with the paperwork being filed, even with him saying he's ready to move on to this next chapter of his life, it's easy to say that now because there's no football to be played. There's no training camp. There's no off-season workouts. There's nothing. It's what you would be doing typically after the season ends. Nothing. Although he's probably used to the season going a little longer than it did this year. Knocked out in the first round of the postseason. But to me, the true test of this retirement and how legit it is isn't going to be this week, next week, a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now. I could keep going. Keep busting you up like this all day. It's going to be about 8 months from now when regular season games start. And all of a sudden that itch starts to pop up. That feeling. Something's missing on Sunday. I feel like I should be somewhere. I feel like I should be doing something. This doesn't feel right. Sitting on the couch with my girlfriend or whoever the flavor of the week is, because he is Tom Brady. He can go get just about anybody he wants at this point. But that's kind of what it feels like to me. It still doesn't feel real. And like I've said before, until we go through an entire 18-week NFL regular season schedule and Tom Brady is not on an NFL roster throughout that entire 18-week schedule, and every week he's in the broadcast booth on Fox Sports doing the games, until I see that, he ain't retired. It's just not. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But like I said, I'm not going to be fooled again because the guy's already told us once before he was retired. The rhetoric does seem to be different around it this time, though. You know, you heard his father earlier this week. He was a guest on, it might have been Get Up with Mike Greenberg. And even his father said, he's just kind of tired of getting hit. You know, when you're 45 years old and you get hit and your team kind of sucks. But that's why the true test of this to me is if a good team says we want you on our roster at some point during the season next year as an injury and somebody's got a chance to win a Super Bowl, but they need a quarterback to do it and their star quarterback goes down. And that could happen to any number of teams. To me, I think it'd be very difficult for Tom Brady to say no in that instance. Again, great that he's officially retired. He can also very officially unretire. It's not something that it's not like a vasectomy. It can be undone. Although I think they say you could actually undo a male vasectomy. But seriously, this can be undone. All it takes is filing paperwork and you're unretired and you stop collecting those NFLPA benefits. So I'll believe it when I see it. It's kind of stinky, though, that Brady's not going to be around doing anything for Fox Sports on the Super Bowl. All right, Nick Ferguson coming up later on in this hour, about 20 minutes from now from Phoenix. Matt Verderame, our national NFL guy from Fansided, will join us in an hour and 20 minutes at 8:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Pacific. But stick around. On the other side, some live betting talk, the latest Super Bowl odds, and more on the Cash In. I'm Jason Page. Hey, what's the... Nothing. I'm talking to somebody. Hold on one second. All right. Thank you, Chad Erickson. Thank you for tuning in tonight. The telephone number from anywhere in America to get your Super Bowl prediction in, 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. If you just want to talk about the game straight up, if you want to talk about some of the odds on it, I can do that too. I'm fluent in sports betting. The current line, it just has not, as far as FanDuel, it has not moved all week. It's amazing. It's still 1.5. And it's still 50.5. Now, I know there are some sports books out there that have it at 51, some that have it at 2, but it has not moved all week. But what has changed throughout the week is the percentage of money on Philadelphia. It has steadily dropped throughout the entire week. Beginning of the week, it was like 80%, 78%, at least as far as FanDuel Sportsbook was concerned. And I would imagine the trend would be similar across all sports books. I don't think one sports book would just have people betting wildly different than others. But what you have right now, as of right this second, the percentage of bets that have been placed on Philadelphia is 66%. The percentage of money that has been bet on Philadelphia is 68%. So that's where we are as of 7:16 p.m. Pacific on Friday, February 10th. It has gradually gone down. So the late money as this game gets closer looks like it's going in the direction of Kansas City. And look, I've said it all week. I love Kansas City. I don't know how you don't. In a game this close, in a matchup where the quarterback play, in a matchup where the teams are so close, I don't know how you don't look at the two quarterbacks and say, all right, here's one with 2 MVPs. Here's one already who's won a Super Bowl, and here's one who's never been in a Super Bowl and really has not been tested so far, excuse me, as far as this postseason is concerned. And I still am hung up on this. I'm still hung up on the fact that Philadelphia has not really been tested in this postseason. There's been no adversity. So we don't have some sort of test case for what you can expect if Jalen Hurts, if they get down early in this game and they got to rally. And again, for a team that loves to run the football, do they suddenly abandon that? Is Jalen Hurts forced to throw the ball more? If that's the case, does the shoulder become an issue? We don't know any of that. Look, I'll be honest. I have poo-pooed Philadelphia all year, despite the 14-3 record. I have poo-pooed this team all season. I will be the first to admit it. I did not buy them halfway through the season. I didn't buy them 2/3 of the way through the season. I haven't bought them going into the playoffs. I have not bought into Philadelphia. I buy into the fact that they are an elite defense. I still don't buy into Jalen Hurts because all I've got is, basically a one full body of work season with this coach, this team, this group. That's all I've got. So for me, I'm just not there yet. And if they win this Super Bowl, I will give them their just due. I will come on the air Monday and say I was wrong. And you can figure out how to punish me for that as listeners and viewers of the show. But gosh dang it, I got to see Jalen Hurts do it. When the chips are down, when it matters most, I got to see Jalen Hurts do it. And think about if he doesn't. Think about all the good stuff this year that we've seen from Jalen Hurts. Think about everything Philadelphia has done this year. Look, there's no shame. There's a lot of really good football players that have wet the bed in the Super Bowl. There's a lot of good quarterbacks that have just taken a big steaming you-know-what. in the middle of the field, essentially, on Super Bowl Sunday. There's great coaches that have come up short on Super Bowl Sunday. And in this game, you've got a quarterback who's in this situation for the first time in his career. And you've got a head coach that's in this situation for the first time in his career. Albeit a young, talented head coach. It is still a head coach who's in this situation for the first time. And we say it all the time. Pressure creates diamonds or it bursts pipes. And on Sunday, that's exactly what we're going to find out. Does it create diamonds or does it burst pipes? I think in the case of Jalen Hurts, it's going to burst pipes. You could have all that confidence you want. You could put up that facade of confidence all you want. Look, I've gone through Philadelphia with a fine-tooth comb all season long. You go and look at the schedule. Look at the teams they played throughout the year. Look at who they beat. They beat the Niners early in the year with Trey Lance and then Jimmy Garoppolo that first game. The Giants, then the Saints. Where is it here? Sorry about that. Get it in front of me. They start out the season with the Lions. They beat the Vikings, who we knew were a joke. They beat the Commanders. They beat the Jaguars. And these were all, and again, all bless the Jaguars' hearts. They finally made the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence, that's all great. The Cardinals fired their head coach. The Cowboys with Cooper Rush. The Steelers, it doesn't matter. The Texans. The Commanders again. The Colts with Jeff Saturday as the head coach. How'd that work out? The Packers. The Titans. The Giants. I don't have enough. I still don't have enough because I haven't seen a team that I think is going to be able to test this Eagles team the way that Kansas City will. They're going to be able to put pressure with their offense. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you want to tell me about this Philadelphia defense. They have not faced anybody this season as good as the guy they're going to face on Sunday. So you can say all you want about Kansas City and what they're going to have to do against, in terms of the Philadelphia defense. I've seen Kansas City put up 44 on the 49ers, and you know how damn good that defense is. I saw Kansas City hang 41 on the road in Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers. I saw him put up 34 on a Broncos defense that's really good, and then 27 in the second to last week. So you could sit here all you want and give me the Philadelphia defense this and the Philadelphia defense that. I've watched this season this Kansas City team go up against the best defenses and knock them down one by one. Tell you what, man, if Philadelphia gets down early, look out. Because I don't think Jalen Hurts, I've watched him, I don't think he's as accurate as you might be led to believe. Yeah, he can make plays with his legs and go run around and do some things, but I'm telling you, I think Philadelphia's a really good, great team. The record stands for itself, but I am sold on Kansas City more than I am on Philadelphia. I've got a body of work, not just in the regular season, not just in the postseason, but in the Super Bowl with this head coach, this quarterback, this offensive coordinator, a lot of these offensive weapons. I have a track record. Do you take track record or do you take a maybe? I'll take the track record. And if I'm wrong, again, I'll be the first one to come out and say I was wrong. give the Kansas City Chiefs, give the Philadelphia Eagles all the credit in the world. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Kansas City's going to win a Super Bowl. And we'll talk later in the show about the legacy aspect of this Super Bowl. Because for Kansas City, it's a big legacy Super Bowl. Nick Ferguson, former NFL safety from Phoenix, on the other side. I'm Jason Page. It's the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. I can't believe I ran a red light. I totally ran the red light. I didn't have our audio. I'll probably do it start of the third hour. Good to have you with us tonight. The Cash In. SportsMap Radio, the SportsMap Radio app. Heading out to Phoenix tomorrow. I'll be there Saturday and Sunday. We're doing our live broadcast Sunday from Desert Diamond Casino, 1 to 4 p.m. local time in Phoenix, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, leading into the big game. We'll have all sorts of different people there. Ed Reed, Eric Dickerson, among others, going to come and hang out with us. Rondale Moore will be there. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you can be there too. We'll give you details on that coming up a little later on. But right now, let's head to Phoenix and welcome in my man, Nick Ferguson, who does a terrific job with the Touchdown Denver podcast. He's been on our show all season long talking NFL. Joins us now in the cash-in on SportsMap Radio. All right, how many drinks deep are you right now, Ferguson?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not that type of guy. Right?
They don't have to be alcoholic drinks.
Well, okay. With that being said, I've had two shiny glasses of H2O. How about that?
So you're not a drinker, huh? Good for you.
No, I'm not, man. Hey, they say your body is your temple, man. I got to keep it clean.
I'm not a big alcohol drinker either, but my body's not clean. So, in terms of being a temple, that's what my doctor told me on Monday. So I gotta start living a healthier life. I'm gonna have to go on the Nick Ferguson diet.
There you go. That's all you have to do.
All right, so here we are. We've gone through the entire week. You've been there in Phoenix. What are you hearing on the ground? What seems to be the consensus?
Well, as it pertains to this week's game, believe it or not, man, the city is hot in Arizona on the Philadelphia Eagles. Everyone is talking about how well they are running the ball, and that, to me, that's a big situation, especially playing defense. Because when you're able to run the ball, we're talking about ball control football. That you're creating balance. You put the defense on their heels. But also, here's the biggest thing. You're keeping Patrick Mahomes on the sideline with the ball cap on. When he's on the sideline, he can't throw a pass and he can't hurt you, which means as though Travis Kelce can't score at the same time. So everyone is feeling that same way. Obviously, you still have some who are saying that this could be a blowout by the Chiefs. I don't really see how that can be something that we can expect, but I look at it like a heavyweight fight, right? It is Rocky Balboa versus Clubber Lang, if you will. And that doesn't necessarily mean that this game will end up like Rocky 3 actually ended up, but it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be great defensive play, and hopefully it is not one of those games either way that we are turning it off right after halftime.
I got to tell you, and you might disagree with my opinion because it sounds like you're on Philadelphia. Here's the thing. Everybody talks about this Philadelphia defense, and I know how good it is. But when you stack up these two teams and the body of work over 17 games this season, Kansas City's body of work is more impressive to me. What Kansas City did, the teams they beat, the defenses, the good defenses that this team hung 37 up on or 44 up on. When I look at this Kansas City team, I have the body of work. I have the resume that makes it easier for me to say they're going to win this game. Great season for Philadelphia, 14-3 is wonderful. But when you go and look at who they beat, and then you look at the postseason, yeah, they beat the Giants. That was a layup. And then, okay, they beat the 49ers, but Brock Purdy's out and they're on their third quarterback by the time you get to the fourth quarter. I haven't seen enough of this Philadelphia team tested under pressure. I want to see them down 14-3, middle of the second quarter, and then we're going to find out. And I think it could happen. Then we're going to find out. Is Jalen Hurts really the quarterback everybody thinks he is? Is he going to be able to make the throws in the big spot? I don't think he is. I think he crumbles on Sunday. I really do.
Wait a minute. Am I talking to Jason Cage or am I talking to a Dallas Cowboys fan?
No, and I am not a Cowboys fan.
Well, you spoke just like as though you were a Cowboys fan. Let me tell you what it is that I see. I know the idea is that they have not played quality teams down the stretch. You can't do anything about that. I'm going to go back to the San Francisco 49ers game. That was an elite defense that they played against. We can look at what happened on offense with Brock Purdy, but this is where I feel as though Philadelphia Eagles still have the edge. In that game against one of the talented defenses in the league, they ran the ball. So that meant that, hey, they knew that Brock Purdy could not throw the ball, so they didn't have to chase points. Their wide receivers did not get involved in the game plan. So they ran the ball once, they ran it twice, and they ran it 4, 5, and 6 times. The 49ers knew the ball was coming down their throat, and they could not stop it. When you get to the stage of the playoffs or the Super Bowl, those teams, once again, that can run the ball and play ball control, keep away offense, those are the teams that usually win because, yeah, you look at, Patrick Mahomes. Have they had to readjust their strategy after Tyreek Hill was gone? Absolutely. Yes, and did they do it well? Great. But I look at some of the games that they played, and they were not blowing teams out like they used to. The two games they played the Denver Broncos, arguably could have been won by the Broncos. Arguably. When we look at the game against the Cincinnati Bengals, if it wasn't for Chris Jones getting that sack on Joe Burrow, the Bengals moved the ball down the field, kicked the field goal, and the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. So when you look at this Kansas City team, it is not the same. They're not dominating like they used to. So that's why Philadelphia still has an opportunity. When you look at which team has the better defense, now you can argue with it, and you may have your points that you may put together. I still feel as though Philly has the better of the defensive units that's playing the game on Sunday.
Yeah, you're judging. Here's the thing, though. You're judging Kansas City. And do me a favor. Hold your phone away a little bit because you're a little muffled. But here's the thing that you're doing. You're judging the Kansas City Chiefs, but they're playing against a better level of competition. So you say they're not blowing, teams out the way that maybe Philadelphia does. It's because the AFC is better.
Wait. So that is your only, I guess, go-to. The AFC is much better.
It is.
Right? Well, you may have some better quarterbacks in the AFC. And I'm not going to say that Daniel Jones was just kind of mincemeat because, they beat Minnesota, and I know how you feel about that. And Brian Dable just received, the Coach of the Year. So they were doing something that was worthwhile. Once again, looking at where the Broncos finished, and we both can agree that they were not as good as they needed to be.
Hot garbage.
And the offense struggled. They struggled a lot this year, but they put up on I'm not going to say back-to-back games, but in 2 games, they put up almost 40 points on the Kansas City Chiefs defense. So for me, I'm looking at what Philly's been able to do, and I'm looking at more of a complete team. If you want to ask, I'm going to ask you, of everything that we just both discussed right now, which team is more of a complete team? Which one? Kansas City or Philadelphia? Which one?
I think it's Philadelphia if you buy in to the idea that Jalen Hurts is what everybody thinks he is, and I'm still not sold on that. He's going to have to. He's going to have to. He's going to have to make plays. He's going to have to make plays in this game.
Has he not done that? Has he not done that? Or are you just being so biased that you don't want to see it?
I just don't. Again, from a resume and a body, if you've got 2 teams that are this closely matched, I'm going with if you've got 2 teams that are this closely matched, I'm going with the quarterback that's 1-1 and 2 MVPs, and I'm going with the head coach who's done it.
Oh, come on.
I'm doing it.
Listen. Jalen Hurts was in the MVP race. He missed a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden he's kicked to the curb. So everything he did up until that point, everyone just kind of dismissed. And then Patrick Mahomes was a clear favorite and ran away with it, right? But think about it. What he was doing. Last year, people left him for dead. They criticized him, but the guy kept playing. He kept playing, and he was in an MVP conversation. You cannot overlook that. And again, I get it. Patrick Mahomes is 1-1. He's been to 2, right? But don't dismiss what Hurts has done. The Eagles are not here without Jalen Hurts. They're not. They're not here, but they are, and they're going to kick butt on Sunday.
All right. So the official Nick.
Call me.
Yep.
Yeah.
The official Nick Ferguson prediction is Philadelphia.
You got done right. That's right. Mark it on your calendar.
Hey, I gotta go, but I hope I get to see you tomorrow because I'm getting into Phoenix, and hopefully we get to meet up for a few.
All right, man. I'll be here.
We can argue it out then. Goodbye, Nick.
All right, man. Be good.
All right, have a good time. Don't drink too much of that water. We're coming back. All right, so we're gonna have to do Paige's picks next hour at some point because my guest for 11:30 p.m. Eastern is gonna now go at midnight Eastern. So we're gonna move Paige's picks. We'll move Paige's picks to probably that spot. We'll probably do Paige's picks at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Middle of the hour. Yeah. Look it up. Look it up. Yeah, I wasn't going to go into Phoenix until Sunday morning, but husband and I decided we're going to go in tomorrow, spend the day in Phoenix, and then get a decent night of rest. Yeah. We were able to find a cheap hotel. And that's more important than spending, a mortgage payment on a hotel room for a night. Oh, yeah? What sport? Nice. Very cool. Do you have a demo or any air checks or anything? STAA, John Chalesnik. Oh, my God. I'll talk to you about that after. Boy, I cannot believe how much everybody's drinking the Kool-Aid on Philadelphia. It's just everybody's on Philadelphia. You'd think this team, I mean, look, I get that they're really good, but not all 14-3s are created equal. Okay? Not all records are the same. You know, we talked about it all year with Minnesota. I mean, what was Minnesota? 13-4? And everybody went, oh, Minnesota! Meanwhile, the Giants had 9 wins. I cannot express this enough to you. Look, if I'm wrong, I will eat the crow on Monday. I'm telling you. But if you are completely sold on Jalen Hurts and what he's done this year, and that's your logic, and look, it's nice to say, well, they're going to be able to run the football and keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. You still got to make plays. And you kick field goals and they score touchdowns. Look, I'll say it again. I'm going to run something down for you. Ready? 44, 27, 17. Make sure I have this right. Here we go. 44, 27, 17, 41, 30, 20, 44, 20, 27, 30, 26, 24, 34, 30, 24, 27, 31, and then 27 and 23. That's the point totals in every game this team has played this year. That being Kansas City. That's the point total. And I get the whole thing of defense wins championships, and it's the reason why I loved San Francisco so much all year. It's the reason I loved Dallas so much all year, was the defense. But this isn't just any offense. This is an offense that can do whatever it wants against just about any defense in the league. Because the guy they've got under center, oh yeah, that 2-time MVP in his first 6 years in the league, he's shown me he could do it against everybody. So I'm sorry. You know, Philadelphia, great season. Great team. But they're great in the NFC. If Philadelphia, let's just say it. If Philadelphia played the same exact schedule as Kansas City, they are not 14-3. I can damn well guarantee it. They're not going 14-3 against the same schedule that Kansas City did. So don't tell me about the fact that, well, Kansas City didn't blow out some of these teams. Denver was an elite defense. They hung up 34 and 27 on them. Yeah, their offense sucked. We get it. But that is an elite defense that they put up 34 and 27 against. And by the way, before you poo-poo their defense, they gave up 10 against the Seahawks. Seattle was pretty good offensively this year. So I'm sorry. I'm just, if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to admit it on Monday. I'll be the first one to admit it. All right. I want to tell you about a chance you have. Now, this is amazing. You've got a chance this Sunday to win $1 million. Hear me. $1 million. I need you to go to playfortickets.com right now. Playfortickets.com. Go and sign up for the $1 million big game challenge. It's free to play. It's free to sign up. It's free to make your picks. And if you can get them all right, it's the game and a bunch of prop bets. You can win $1 million this Sunday. Think about how that would change your life. Think about how $1 million would change your life. Justin Barbosa is our producer engineer working the show tonight. Justin, imagine what $1 million could do for your life. You could move out of your parents' basement. It's amazing. Retire your parents. Yeah, I guess you're a good kid. Let me tell you. You're a good kid, because me, I'm keeping every penny of it. Probably be divorced by Monday. I'm kidding. I'm not that big a jerk. But $1 million. If you can go right now to playfortickets.com, go there and sign up. It's free to sign up, free to play, free to join. The $1 million big game challenge going on right now at playfortickets.com. And when you go to play, you'll see all the picks there. You pick the game with the spread, Kansas City and Philadelphia. The over and the under, 49.5 is what it is on Play for Tickets. And then they got a bunch of prop bets. First drive of the second half result. First rushing play of the game in yards. The highest scoring quarter. Jalen Hurts total passing yards. Kansas City Chiefs first pass completion yardage. The Chiefs first play. The Chiefs first touchdown score position. Even if you think it's crazy that you got to try and get 19 right in order to win $1 million, why wouldn't you even just try? I mean, is $1 million just growing on trees somewhere? Is it that easy? Go to playfortickets.com right now and sign up. And again, Play for Tickets, sponsoring our big live broadcast this Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, 1 to 4 p.m. Phoenix time, which is Mountain right now. We're going to be out there doing our live broadcast. It's called The Cash In with Jason Page. Countdown to kickoff. I don't think the voice will sound quite like that, but we'll be doing it on Sunday from the Desert Diamond Casino in Glendale. There's a bunch of Desert Diamond casinos out there, so don't go to the wrong one. Go to Desert Diamond Casino, and if you place a wager of $200 or more, you get a free ticket to the Super Bowl watch party at Desert Diamond Casino. It's going on from noon to 9 p.m., and there's going to be food. There's going to be drinks. I'm going to be there doing the show. Ed Reed is going to be there spinning some tunes. Yes, that Ed Reed is going to be there spinning some tunes. Cedric Ceballos is going to be spinning some tunes. Yes, that's Cedric Ceballos, former Phoenix Sun, former Los Angeles Laker. Eric Dickerson's going to be hanging out with us. I'm sure he'll come over and say hello. We'll have a little conversation. Christian Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare, former running back for the Chiefs. Looking forward to getting his thoughts on the game. Rondale Moore, Cardinals wide receiver. Who knows? Might be some surprises. Free food, drinks, games, prizes. It's going to be a blast. Again, playfortickets.com and go check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it. There's an NBA game going on right now. I said we would get into the live betting stuff tonight. We haven't even talked about it at all. The late game on ESPN is Cleveland and New Orleans. 7:57 to go, second quarter. Boy, New Orleans is just dying a slow death without Zion Williamson. And it really is something else. How badly this team is missing his presence. But Cleveland leads New Orleans right now, 51, now 53-34. Midway through the second quarter, Portland on top of Oklahoma City, 52-46. Sacramento's getting destroyed by the Dallas Mavericks, 65-41. Kyrie Irving's second game. And a well-balanced attack for the Mavericks, who are still without Luka Doncic and just, again, trying to figure out how to tread water without him. Battle for the worst record in the league tonight. Detroit beat San Antonio 138-131 in double overtime. Some good games around the league tonight. Knicks lost in Philadelphia. No surprise there. Hey, Houston lost again. They're still in the lead for Victor Wembanyama. All right, we're done with the first hour. Stick around, another hour to come. Actually, 2 of them. I'm Jason Page. It's the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. All right. Cool. That dude's been around a long time, man. Been around a long time. He's a good guy. I don't have anything bad to say about him. It's just, like everybody else, I don't know. Do you pay for his services or anything like that? Yeah. Not a big fan of that stuff. Paying for stuff like that. I don't think I ever paid for a single service my entire career. Ever. And not because I was great or anything like that. It just, I networked and I reached out to people and I contacted people and I harassed people until they gave me an opportunity. But I would definitely be curious to hear your play-by-play stuff. If you want an honest critique, I wouldn't mind. Because I love play-by-play. God. I'd be curious to hear it. I've always been the same on the air as I am off the air. I'm a jerk off the air. I'm a jerk on the air. That's pretty much it. Another hour of the show starts right now on SportsMap Radio and the SportsMap Radio app. We got a telephone number, 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. You want to hit me up on Twitter, go ahead and do it at the back page. Again, on Twitter, at the back page. We were supposed to be joined by Matt Verderame in this hour from Fansided because he's out at dinner in Phoenix. Look, everybody's letting their hair down. It's the Super Bowl. I'm just glad when people are willing to come on, especially on a Friday night. When God knows there's a million things you could do that are more fun than talking to me. Matt Verderame will join us coming up an hour from now. So we'll talk to him 1 hour from now. We'll get some thoughts with him on this Super Bowl and what he's seen throughout the week down there. So Matthew Verderame, Fansided National NFL writer, coming up a little later on in the show, about an hour from now. Sean Payton was a guest on Fox Sports Radio on the Doug Gottlieb show over on Radio Row at the Super Bowl. And he talked, and it was very interesting. They had a conversation about quarterbacks, and Sean Payton's getting ready to go be the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Talked about coming back into coaching, technology in the game, and how it's improving and advancing the NFL. But he also got into something that I think is very interesting. And I don't think it's something we talk about enough or think about enough. And that is the struggle for teams when you have great quarterbacks, because you've got a window early in their careers by which you can try to win with them. And then it gets really difficult to win once they're past that fourth or fifth year, because then you run into salary cap problems because you got to pay them. And it makes it very difficult to balance your roster when you've got so much of the salary cap being spent on one guy. Now, the salary cap is going to go up next year a little bit, and that'll help some teams. Right now, it's $208.2 million this year. But go and look around the league at the highest paid quarterbacks in the game. Matthew Stafford is making $61 million this year. He's making $61.5 million out of a $208 million, we'll just say. He's making $61.5 million out of $208 million available to that team to spend this year. Think that over for a second. Sean Payton said of the issues regarding the salary cap, quote, I don't think there has been, or with quarterbacks taking so much of the cap, I don't think there's ever been a QB that won a Super Bowl on a mega deal contract. We saw New England do it, but Tom Brady always took a discount, he says. Ultimately, there's a pizza pie at a party with sections. Let's say there are 7 of you at the party, and the big guy has to eat half of it. So there has to be a happy medium there. When we, the Saints, won, Drew Brees was on an early deal. When Russell Wilson won, he was on an early deal, talking about his days in Seattle, obviously. Philadelphia had a couple of guys on early deals the year they won. I think it's a delicate balance. So when you go back to Brady, one of the best things he did was recognize the importance of winning, and that winning would be first and foremost to his legacy. Now, that to me is really smart, common sense thinking to the problems that organizations face as it relates to trying to win with great quarterbacks. Because with great quarterbacks come great contracts. And with great contracts comes the inability to sign some of your important pieces to surround that quarterback with. So you got Matthew Stafford this year making $61.5 million. Russell Wilson, $57 million. Josh Allen, almost $47 million. Deshaun Watson, $46 million. Aaron Rodgers, hard to believe he's the fifth highest paid, $42 million. And that goes up dramatically next year. Kirk Cousins, $40 million. Tom Brady, he's a discount, $30 million. Kyler Murray, $30 million. Patrick Mahomes, $29.4 million. And look, the fact that he's getting paid $29.4 million, that's part of the reason they're still in a position that they're in, and they still have so much talent they can put around him. It becomes very problematic. And then Ryan Tannehill is the 10th highest paid quarterback in the league. I bet you would have never thought that. If I'd given you 10 guesses, you wouldn't have figured Ryan Tannehill is the 10th highest paid quarterback in the NFL this year, making $29 million. And look, the reality is this. Tannehill's contract is non-guaranteed for next year. They can get out from under it after this season. Yeah, there's a cap hit that comes with it, but there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks on the open market, and in all likelihood, Ryan Tannehill's probably played his last game, unless quarterbacks just say, I don't want to play in Tennessee, and I don't know why they do that. It's hard for me to believe that Ryan Tannehill will be a quarterback in Tennessee next year. He's scheduled to make $27 million if they keep him on the roster. I don't think they're going to. But you go and look at the top paid quarterbacks in the league. I mean, Lamar Jackson's making $23 million. Everybody talks like Lamar Jackson isn't compensated. You would think Lamar Jackson was making the league minimum the way people talk about him. But again, this is part and parcel of the problem when you talk about guys that want these monster deals. And I think if I were in the room and I were the general manager talking to an agent or talking to the player and just having an honest conversation, I'd say the same thing to all these guys. What matters more to you? Your financial security. And I can't even go along with the idea that it's financial security, by the way. I can't. Because it's hard for me to believe guys can't make it on $30 million, $40 million, $25 million. If you can make it on $40 million, something tells me you can make it on 30. And if that $10 million is the difference between winning and losing, again, Tom Brady did it for his entire career in New England. His entire career in New England, he gave money back. Why? Because winning is what mattered most. Brady gave it back all the time. And that's why that team was always in position to win every year, because they could go out and get other guys. So, to me, you want to talk about I wonder who was the biggest bargain at quarterback this year? Marcus Murray, no, not Marcus. Geno Smith at $7 million, maybe. Yeah, he was pretty good. Daniel Jones made $4.2 million this year. Had a pretty good year. But here you go. Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. None of those guys are getting paid. So you want to win with those guys now. While they're still under your thumb, while they're still not making that huge coin, you want to win with Burrow, Tua, Herbert, Lawrence now, because it's going to get really hard when their salary goes up by 10 to 15 to 20 times. It's tough. I'm telling you, man, I don't envy what some of these GMs have to do in assembling a roster when, again, you're looking at a team like you're looking at a team like the Rams, and Matthew Stafford's making $61.5 million. And we've chronicled it. Aaron Rodgers next year is slated to make, about $60 million? Yeah. 2023, he makes almost $60 million. just a shade under $60 million. His base salary is $1.165 million. Signing bonus of $58 million. The cap hit is $31 million. I mean, and he's got a dead cap value if they let him go. He's got a dead cap value of almost $100 million. I mean, as an organization, when you make deals like this, when you sign contracts like this on your end as an organization, you're basically saying we care more about the player than we do getting the guys around him. It always boggles my mind. If Aaron Rodgers cares that much about winning, which, by the way, I don't think he does. I think he loves competing. I think he likes winning football games. I think he loves how it looks. I don't think Aaron Rodgers cares if he wins another Super Bowl, because if he did, he wouldn't be taking $60 million next year. Wouldn't be doing it. And you can sit here and say all you want. Well, that's what he's worth. No, you decide what you're worth at the end of the day. And you decide what winning is worth. And Rodgers has decided, you know what? Taking 30% of my team's salary cap, that's what's more important. Or 35% of my team's salary cap, that's what's more important. We'll check in on the live betting on the other side. I'm Jason Page. The cashing continues on SportsMap Radio. Be right back. I'm going to grab a drink. There's literally like a sip left. I don't have time to make seltzer. What husband like to make me some? Because right now I'm really thirsty and my throat is getting a little sore because I'm a little loud tonight.
Okay, so I drink.
You left the swallow.
I drink the dregs. That's my name, drinker of the dregs. The left behind, the leftovers.
The leftovers is ready. It's gonna be fun figuring out how to make this thing work tomorrow. That's coming with us.
I'm frightfully afraid it will not.
It's coming. It has to.
Told you to do a new one.
Wasn't possible. I went and looked. Getting one that fast wouldn't have been possible.
I told you like how many weeks ago?
You broke it. Super Bowl is right around the corner. Can't wait. Good to have you with us tonight. SportsMap Radio and the SportsMap Radio app. I have been lucky enough to be privileged and given the task of hosting the show leading into the big game on Sunday. We'll do that in Glendale, Arizona at the Desert Diamond Casino. If you are listening to us on KDUS in Phoenix, come by and see us. Now, it's an invite-only Super Bowl watch party that I'm hosting from. However, you can get in if you make a wager of $200 or more at the sports book on Sunday. So either you're on the invite list, you know, the whole red velvet rope thing. You can come in, you can't. You can come in, you can't. The only reason I'm on the invite list is because I'm hosting a show. Otherwise, I don't think I would be on the invite list. So if you're not on the invite list, the way you get to the game is go to Desert Diamond Casino, place a $200 wager, and you got an invite. Food, free drinks, games, prizes. How about a chance, courtesy of Play for Tickets, to win $50,000? Come on, that's pretty cool. There's another contest they're having where you can crack the vault and win $100,000 in cash. It's free to play. It's all thanks to our friends at playfortickets.com. And by the way, at playfortickets.com, you got a chance right now to win $1 million. Free to enter, free to sign up. This Sunday, the big game challenge going on at playfortickets.com. Go and make your picks on the game, and you can win $1 million this Sunday. How cool is that? 1-800-224-2004. On the show tonight, I said I want to get your picks. 800-224-2004. If you got a pick on the game, I want to hear it. Get on the record, and then you can come back on Monday and brag about how you were right. I want to know if anybody else is with me on Kansas City, because I kind of feel like I'm alone on this Chiefs island right now. To me, I think there's a lot of logic behind a Kansas City pick. I think if you're picking Philadelphia, I think it's some fool's gold. Great team. They're not Kansas City. I'm telling you, I love Kansas City plus 1.5 right now. Love the Chiefs plus 1.5. Let me know what you think. 800-224-2004. 800-224-2004. We'll do the official final edition of Page's Picks. The final edition of Page's Picks is coming up about 12 minutes from now. All season long, we've been giving you NFL picks. All season long, we've been giving you winners. We are giving you more winners than losers. And that's all you could ever ask for in the game of handicapping. Be right more than you're wrong. And we've done that. But we're going to give you some winners, not just on the game, but some prop bets as well. We'll do that coming up in about 10 minutes here on the show. 800-224-2004 on Twitter at the back page. Again, on Twitter at the back page if you want to weigh in with your opinion on the game. There are NBA games going on tonight. We usually do live betting in this segment. They are at the half in Portland right now. It's Oklahoma City. I tell you, the Thunder have been so impressive this year. I think people thought they were going to be terrible, lose their top draft pick to injury before the season even starts, thinking, maybe they'll tank and go get Wembanyama. No, they're building a culture of winning there. Thunder lead the Blazers in Portland 72-68. It's only halftime, but still a notable score there. They've reached the half in Sacramento with Dallas all over Sacramento, 74-56. They're at the half in New Orleans with Cleveland leading the Pelicans 73-56. I'll tell you, there were some people that thought that New Orleans could be a title contender. Boy, if you ever wondered about pinning your hopes and strapping your franchise's hopes, how dangerous it can be to do that with one guy. And everybody said it before the season started. Every single person you talk to in the NBA said, how far New Orleans goes is going to be dictated by how healthy Zion Williamson is throughout the 82-game season. And what have we seen so far? He's not healthy enough. And the team can't win without him. It's, I know a lot of people will like to say, well, other guys got to step up. There is a direct correlation. There is a straight line from Zion gets hurt to the Pelican season goes off the rails. And that's what's happened. Their season has gone terribly off the rails. Clippers and Bucks tonight. That's a good game. I mean, let's be honest. It's a potential NBA Finals matchup. Frankly, you could say just about any team in the West, with the exception of about 4 or 5 of them against the Bucks, is an NBA Finals preview potentially. It's not that crazy. Not that crazy at all. What do we got going on in that game? Antetokounmpo's got 16. Giannis, but only 6 of 15 shooting. And Milwaukee shooting 39% from the field in that game. And if you're shooting 39% in an NBA game these days, you're really shooting poorly. Because, 47, 48% now is a kind of a baseline. It used to be, if you shot 42 or 43%, you have a chance to win. Now, with scoring being where it is, yeesh. Clippers, nice balanced attack for them in the first half. We'll see what they look like post-trade deadline now that John Wall is no longer on the team as well. It'll be interesting to see what Utah decides to do with John Wall, too. Not Utah, sorry. Houston does with John Wall. There's a lot of guys, the potential NBA buyout list is enormous. The Athletic put up an article today about it. The guys that could all wind up getting bought out. And the list is John Wall, who's now at the Rockets, Russell Westbrook, who's now at the Jazz, Reggie Jackson, Reginald Martinez Jackson, different Reggie, with the Hornets, Patrick Beverley with the Hornets, Terrence Ross with the Magic, Will Barton with the Wizards, Serge Ibaka with the Pacers. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that could be had. And I know, I was listening to Stan Van Gundy the other day saying, well, the trade deadline's come and gone. Now we can focus on basketball. Well, there's a lot of guys out there. There's a lot of guys out there that could still potentially be moved. And some guys are going to wind up getting waived and bought out, and they're going to be playing on other teams. By the way, speaking of Stan Van Gundy, the former NBA head coach and TNT NBA analyst on their Tuesday night and Thursday night games, that Stan Van Gundy will be my guest on the Cash-In this upcoming Tuesday on the show. My man, Stan Van Gundy, Tuesday on the show. Make sure to stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to getting some thoughts with him on this trade deadline. Following up on a story we talked about on the show last night, the Cam Thomas story. I'll tell you what happened with him coming up in a few minutes, because last night he got himself in some hot water by saying something, ignorant, foolish, stupid, homophobic, idiotic. I don't know. I'm still coming up with different ways to describe what he said. But he got his comeuppance from the league today. You could decide if it's enough of a comeuppance. We'll tell you about that coming up in a few minutes. Also, I saw the trailer for Air today, this story about Nike and how the Air Jordans came about. If you haven't seen it yet, you've got to go and take a look. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon look like they've done it again. And they are surrounded by an amazing cast. Viola Davis, Jason Bateman. You'll see the commercial during the Super Bowl on Sunday. Young Justin Barbosa, our producer-engineer tonight on the show. Make sure you see that movie. It should be required viewing for all young sportscasters. We're coming back. Paige's picks and Cam Thomas's fate next on the Cash-In. Yeah. Go look at the trailer for it. What? I can't wait to go to Phoenix tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Early. Probably about 9 a.m. because it's a 4-hour drive. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing, but I'm sure we're going to do something fun because we're leaving our dog with my best friend. And then, so it's just going to be us, and we've got all day Saturday to do pretty much what we want. I might have a couple of meetings, because I'm gonna make sure to see Nick Ferguson when I'm there. Matt Verderame. There's a few people I'll probably see when I'm there. Yeah, it's always fun to see the people that you have on because, it's really that's what I miss most about going to Super Bowl week is you see so many people you either have worked with throughout your career. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I'm still only 45. Well, 28 years. I started when I was 17. And the coolest thing about Radio Row and Super Bowl week, which is why next year I'm going to be there. I'll be there for sure next year. Is you get to see so many people you've worked with over the years. And it's the only event where that happens, because everybody's spread around the country. You never get to see those people. Yeah. We are halfway home on this Friday edition of the show. I tell you, I got so much adrenaline running through me right now. I haven't shared this on the air, and I almost hesitate to, but it's been a weird week for me. It started out on Monday. I had to go to get like a routine checkup and like get a full workover to see, how I was health-wise. I'm 45 years old. You're at that age where stuff starts to break down. You got to take care of yourself better, that sort of thing. And I really let myself go the last 2 years. I was the healthiest I had ever been about September of 2019. And 3.5 years later, I am literally the most unhealthy I've ever been. And I finally, bit the bullet, went to a doctor. I knew it wasn't going to be good. I knew I was going to get the whole speech about, having to be healthy. I didn't realize it was as bad as it was in terms of my medical makeup, my, things like my cholesterol or my triglycerides, all of this stuff. These things that are really important when you get to be a certain age. Not that I'm old. I still think of myself as young, but I'm 45 years old. I got friends people I went to school with who are dropping dead in their 40s. Nothing's guaranteed when you get into your 40s. So the week's been a weird one because I started out on Monday literally getting a lecture from my doctor that's basically said, if you don't get yourself right in the next 3 months, if I don't see signs that you're bringing these certain numbers down, I'm going to put you on a whole bunch of meds and you're going to be really miserable having to take medication every day for the rest of your life. And I took that very seriously and I took it to heart. And I started dieting about a week and a half ago because I already knew the bad news was coming. And I went and, I've made some changes, some lifestyle changes. If you notice on the show, for those of you watching the video stream, we always have the show up on Twitch, twitch.tv. Jason Page 77 is the way you can watch the show. And if you go there, or if you're watching us on Twitter at the back page, you can watch on my Twitter timeline. But if you watch, you'll often see me drinking Diet Coke or Coffee Coke. And both of those things are really not good for you when you drink them in the quantities that I do as often as I do. So I have switched off. I've literally just shut off the spigot. I'm not drinking any more Diet Coke. I'm not drinking any more Coffee Coke. There's some Coffee Coke in the house, but I'm just not drinking it. And I've switched to seltzer water right here. Making my own and, sometimes buying some, but, making better choices. And there's already been immediate results. I've lost about 11 or 12 pounds in the first, couple of weeks, a week and a half that I've been dieting. And I'm very strict, keeping count of my calories and all that stuff. But the one thing I noticed most of all is I have a lot more energy than I did in previous weeks. Just by kind of cleansing my body of all the, the fast food and McDonald's and Domino's and Wendy's. And they're all, that stuff tastes great. But again, if you don't do those things in moderation, if you eat them all the time, if you're having Jack in the Box for breakfast 3 days a week, it's going to kill you eventually. So I had to make changes, drastic changes. And I made these kind of drastic changes about 4 years ago, and it paid big dividends. I lost over 60 pounds, and then I put it all back on. So long story longer, I have been trying to make some lifestyle changes over the last 10 days or so, and it's doing quite well. So you might even notice it. If you look on the screen, you might say, wow, his face looks a little thinner. He don't look like as much of a fatty as he normally does. So pretty cool. Pretty cool, though. And I have so much more energy when I'm doing the show at night right now because of the fact that I don't have all these toxic things kind of running through my body. So just something I thought I'd share with you guys. If you're trying to make lifestyle changes, I'm with you. I know how difficult it is. If you're heavier than you wish you were, you might look at it and say, God, how am I going to lose all this weight? Just do it one day at a time. Just start today with making better decisions on how to take care of yourself. It'll do wonders for you. I want to talk about something before we get to Paige's Picks, which we'll do coming up here in a minute. It's a very short edition of Paige's Picks because there's only one game to talk about. I want to talk about the Cam Thomas story because last night he got himself into some hot water after the Nets got a win. He was caught on a mic. He was kind of interrupting the Spencer Dinwiddie post-game interview with Jared Greenberg on TNT. And in front of a national audience, he started talking about the good-looking guys on the team. And when he talked about the good-looking guys on the team, he made it a point to say something that, well, kids think it's funny. They say, no homo. So if they're saying that another male is attractive, as if to say, I think he's attractive, but it doesn't mean I'm gay, they say no homo. And to me, that's an anti-gay slur. It's homophobic. It's rooted in ignorance. It's something that's demeaning to the LGBTQ plus community. I made my displeasure with it known last night on the show, so I'm not going to go back into the whole thing. We took calls on it. I've been getting people hitting me up on Twitter about it, both good and bad. There's been a lot of discussion about it. Well, today, the NBA, they didn't waste no time in punishing Cam Thomas. He gets a $40,000 fine from the league. Now, I can question whether that's good enough or not, and we could sit here and go around in circles about whether he should have been fined more than that or suspended. If somebody dropped, a slang for the Jewish population or black people or Latinos or Chinese people, if somebody dropped one of those really bad words that you're not supposed to say, I bet you they'd get suspended. Hell, they might even get released. But still to this day, you can pretty much say whatever you want about gay people, and you're going to get away with it. You're going to get a slap on the wrist. A $40,000 fine for a guy that makes $2.1 million a year, who makes $26,000 per game. A $40,000 fine, that's a slap on the wrist. It's nothing. You think that Cam Thomas learned his lesson from that? Oh, but he apologized, Jay. You never know if an apology is legitimate. Sounded real. Sounded heartfelt. Sounded sincere on Twitter. But who knows? It's a PR guy writing that for him, telling him to say it. Just saying. $40,000, it's a drop in the bucket. All right, let's get to Paige's Picks. All right, it's the shortest edition of Paige's Picks we will have all season on the show. Let's go! That's why I'm losing my voice. Yelling a lot tonight. It's the Super Bowl. It's in Glendale, Arizona. The 14-3 Kansas City Chiefs, the 14-3 Philadelphia Eagles. And you know what? The best thing about this game, win, lose, whoever you like, the two best teams are in the final game of the year. Sign me up for that anytime. I've said all I have to say on it, but let's make it official. Kansas City is the better quarterback. They have the better head coach. They have one of the best tight ends on the planet. They've scored against every defense thrown at them this year. Jalen Hurts, first Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, no adversity in this postseason. And I'm still not convinced Jalen Hurts has what it takes to win the big one. There, I said it. And if I am wrong, I will eat it on Monday. Take the Chiefs plus 1.5. And I love the under at 50.5. If you can find it at 51 or 51.5, even better. Give me Kansas City plus 1.5, Philadelphia minus 50.5. Paige's Picks, the Super Bowl edition. I love it. I can't wait. Man, just sign me up for this game on Sunday. I'm so glad it's finally here. It's been the slowest Super Bowl week ever. You know what else is slow this time of year usually? The PGA Tour. But it's about to get a whole hell of a lot more interesting next week. Have you heard the news? A certain really popular golfer is going to be playing in next week's tournament. I'll tell you about it next on the Cash In, SportsMap Radio. I wasn't crazy about it because the audio. Yeah, I wasn't nuts about it. Yeah, I mean, go ahead and put it in. Put my first segment in and put, frankly, just put my first two segments in and then put the Ferguson interview in and then put Paige's picks and the Matt Verderame interview, and that should be it. No. Wow. You mean like on an out of bounds play or? Oh, wow. Coming up, 15 minutes from now, it'll be Matt Verderame, our NFL insider from Fansided, joining us from Phoenix. And then we say goodbye tonight, but don't worry, you'll hear from us again before the big game on Sunday. Boy, I can't wait. This Sunday, looking forward to it. This Sunday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Phoenix time, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. It's the Cash In with Jason Page countdown to kickoff, and we'll do it from the Desert Diamond Casino in the West Valley. That's in Glendale, Arizona, right in the shadow of State Farm Stadium where they'll play this year's Super Bowl. I will be part of a Super Bowl watch party. I'll be hosting my show from there. Eric Dickerson, Christian Okoye, Rondale Moore, Cedric Sabalos, Ed Reed, and who knows who else. Just might walk through that door. So we're going to be there, and you can be there too. If you're listening to us on our affiliate in Phoenix, KDUS, maybe you're flying out to Phoenix for the weekend. And if you are, come and hang out with us. Come say hi. We'll be doing the show live from there, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern, leading right up practically to kickoff for this year's Super Bowl. It's not the Super Bowl, but when you start to hear about Tiger Woods playing golf, it kind of gets you excited. You know, next week's the week after the Super Bowl, and we'll talk about the NBA. We have Stan Van Gundy on next week. But now we've got something really cool to talk about. We've got something really cool to talk about. You know what it is? Tiger Woods playing golf. With just one tweet today, Woods basically set the sports world on fire. Tweeting 10 hours ago, I'm ready to play an actual PGA Tour event next week at the Genesis Invitational. And that's his baby. That's his event. That's one that I think benefits, if I'm not mistaken, I thought that benefited the Tiger Woods Foundation. I'm pretty sure it does. So Tiger Woods is going to be playing in his event that he hosts, and that's great for golf. You know, in a time when we're talking about live golf versus the PGA Tour and which side is winning and players still defecting to go play at live, and the story this week about live golf actually admitting they haven't made a penny since getting into business, zero revenue. You're reminded about one of the things that even now, even at this advanced stage of his career, that will always set the PGA Tour apart from anything else out there, and that's Tiger Woods. Remember, Live Golf tried to get him. Live Golf tried to put up money and offered him basically the moon and stars. He said, nope, Saudi Arabia, you can't buy me. Not to say he's never probably taken money from the Saudis or, you know, played in events over there or anything like that. But as far as leaving the PGA Tour, abandoning the tour that allowed him to become a star and flourish and become one of the most recognizable figures in all of sports, Tiger said, nope, this is where I'm at. And him and Rory have done everything they could, that being Rory McIlroy, to really expose the greed of those that have gone to live golf and why the PGA Tour still matters. And next week would just be a normal week on the PGA Tour. But now Tiger's there, and it just feels like something much bigger. Even though I don't think anybody actually believes he has a chance to win anything right now, he hasn't played a PGA Tour event in 800 days. I mean, that's 2 years since he's played a PGA Tour event. But it tells you he must be feeling pretty good, because I think a lot of people believed you probably wouldn't see Tiger until the Masters. You know, April. And now here he is playing an event in February at Riviera. Oh, you know who that's got to burn up? Phil Mickelson used to love playing Riviera. And I listen, maybe all that money makes up for, and he does the duck, Scrooge McDuck. Maybe he does the Scrooge McDuck thing where he goes down a slide and falls into just tons of gold medallions and just swimming around in his money. Maybe for some people that does it. For Tiger, it's still just about competing on the PGA Tour. Because of all the endorsements and all the business dealings he doesn't need the money. Guy's got more money than any of us will ever be able to fathom. It's just the ability to still go out there and compete. And every time he tees it up, you're just going to sit there and wonder, maybe he's got a shot. Maybe he's got a chance to win. I can't wait. The Genesis Championship. There's no betting odds on it as far as I know right now. There's no betting odds available. This weekend's tournament is the one at TPC Scottsdale, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, which is going on this weekend. What are the Masters odds? Let's see. The current odds for the Masters right now. See, here you go. Tiger Woods is plus 4,600 right now for the Masters. Again, put $100 on him and you win. 4,600. Man, I guarantee you somebody did it a few years ago and made a lot of money when he won the Masters. Rory McIlroy right now is your favorite for the 2023 edition of the Masters. Rory is plus 750. So to give you some perspective as to where we are, in terms of the odds, Rory is plus 750 and Tiger's all the way down at plus 4,600 to win the Masters this year. What's Phil Mickelson? Is he even on the list? Can't find Phil. Let's see. Mickelson, Bubba Watson is plus 9,000. Just looking at past winners, guys you might think have a chance. Phil Mickelson is plus 19,000 to win the Masters. Again, put $100 down if Mickelson walks away with a green jacket. Again, it's crazy to think it could happen, but if you've got stupid money to throw around, why not throw $100 on Phil Mickelson to win 19,000? That's what we'll call a value bet. I don't know what kind of value bet, but it's a value bet of some kind. After Rory McIlroy is the favorite at plus 750, it's John Rahm at plus 1,000, Scotty Scheffler at plus 1,200, Cameron Smith at plus 1,300, and then Justin Thomas at plus 1,500. So those are your top five, the lowest odds to win the Masters, the 2023 edition. But the big news today in golf, and again, it just eclipses everything. Nobody cared about what happened at the Waste Management Phoenix Open today. The only thing people were talking about as it related to golf today was the fact that Tiger Woods is going to be back there teeing it up next week at the Genesis Invitational at Riviera. I even said to my husband today, I said, man, it's only a couple hour drive out to L.A., Maybe I should go watch Tiger next week. By the way, speaking of Scotty Scheffler and John Rahm, top of the leaderboard at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, Scheffler is at 10 under. Rahm is at -8. Not everybody finished their second round. Adam Hadwin is -8 as well, and he's still on the course in his second round. Well, he's not still on the course. If he was on the course right now, that'd be pretty funny, huh, Justin? Just playing in the dark, like Bill Murray and Caddyshack. Yeah, it'd be pretty funny. So that's what you got going on right now as far as the Waste Management Phoenix Open. But again, the only thing people were talking about today as it related to golf was Tiger Woods. He's coming back next week. Genesis Invitational. We will have full coverage of that on the program next week. All right, stick around. We've got another hour final hour of a Friday edition of the Cash In. We'll be joined by my man Matt Verderame, who does a terrific job with Fansided, their national NFL writer. Will join us from Phoenix. We'll get his thoughts on the big game. Game. Stick around for that. My conversation with Nick Ferguson also coming up later next hour. I'm Jason Page. This is the Cash In. Are you looking? Yeah. I talk like this. Wake up call. hour of a Friday/Saturday edition of the show. It's good to have you with us. SportsMap Radio and the SportsMap Radio app. We're almost finally there. We're just stretching for the finish line to get to this game on Sunday. And we will be there on Sunday afternoon. Catch us from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, a special edition of the Cash-In Countdown to Kickoff on many of these same SportsMap Radio affiliates, but also a whole bunch more, or the SportsMap Radio app. And video of the show will be exclusively on Twitch on Sunday for that show. Eric Dickerson, Christian Okoye, Rondale Moore, Cedric Sabalos, Ed Reed, a host of others, all going to be hanging out with us on that live broadcast from Desert Diamond Casino in Glendale. Come and hang out with us. More details on that later on in the hour. Right now, I want to say hello to our good friend. He has joined us all season long on the Cash-In to talk about the NFL. We love him dearly. Matt Verderame, NFL insider at Fansided, gives us some time tonight on the show from Phoenix, where he's just had, I guess, an amazing late-night dinner, huh?
Yeah, I still got half my dessert sitting on the table, but I told anybody they touch it, and there's going to be a fist fight. So I'm happy to step outside and chat with you.
Yeah, I always appreciate it, my friend. What's been the consensus around this game this week? I mean, you're down there, you're at Radio Row, you're at the press conferences. What seems to be the thing sort of generating the most buzz to you? Because this feels like, in so many regards, one of the quietest Super Bowl weeks I could ever remember.
Yeah, it's been weird. I think there's a couple things. One would be everybody that I've talked to, and I would agree with them, feels like the Chiefs are the loosest team you maybe ever seen in your life. So, I mean, there's just no anxiety. There's no stress. There's no I mean, if you didn't know better, you would think they were playing like a preseason game. I mean, they just couldn't be. Now, I don't know how that factors in, if that matters, if it doesn't, but it's just an observation. They've just been unbelievably loose. And the Eagles haven't been tight. It's been kind of what you would expect. The Chiefs have been like it's August. I think the other thing I would say is, you talk to people. I think there's this prevailing thought that, well, the Eagles are the better team, but the Chiefs have Mahomes. I don't know that I feel that way. I think the Chiefs are actually really good, like even beyond Mahomes and Kelsey and Jones. The Chiefs have as many All-Pros as the Eagles. The Chiefs, I think, had one fewer Pro Bowlers. They're really good. I think sometimes because Mahomes is so great, it's going blinding. But that said, that has been the prevailing thought. The Eagles are the better team. The Chiefs have Mahomes. Take your pick.
I don't think enough people have given respect when not all 14 and 3s are created equal. And what I mean by that, and I had this, Nick Ferguson and I, former NFL safety, tonight on the show, we were arguing about it. I don't think all 14 and 3s are created equal. And to me, Kansas City going 14 and 3 in the AFC against the schedule they did it, and Philadelphia going 14 and 3 against the schedule they did, it's not the same. It's not the same teams. It's not the same resumes, not the same caliber of quarterbacks. And don't tell me about this Eagles defense, because I watched Kansas City all year put up big, crooked, giant numbers against some of the best defenses in the league.
The Chiefs went to San Francisco when the Niners were healthy and scored 44 points in that game. And they had 2 turnovers and they missed a field goal. I mean, the Chiefs could have had 60 that afternoon. Now, do I think that's going to happen on Sunday? No, but I'll say this. I think this game is much more about the Chiefs than it is about the Eagles in this regard. To me, the Eagles, and maybe I'm underselling them. I'll be the first one to admit that, although I've watched about every game of theirs this year. I think the Eagles, if they're going to win this game, they have to get home relentlessly. And I don't mean pressure Paul. I mean sack him. Because his pressure numbers, like under pressure in the playoffs this year, he's better under pressure than when he's not. So I don't care if Philadelphia gets pressure. You've got to sack him. You've got to hit his arm when he's throwing the ball. You've got to get him to the ground. And if they don't do that consistently for 4 quarters, and they sit in the zones that they typically sit in, that zone drop spot coverage, Mahomes knows where they're going to be. And if he knows where they're going to be and he's got an opportunity to get the ball off playing, good night. So I think for the Eagles, this is a big – and I'll add this quickly. Talking to a lot of people around the league, there's more of a thought that Hurts is more interested in this game than Mahomes is, which could be something that really does obviously play a huge factor in this game.
How much talk has there been about the legacy stuff? I mean, a lot of guys have won one Super Bowl. There ain't a lot of guys that have won multiple Super Bowls, and this guy's only in his 6th year in the league talking about Patrick Mahomes, and he's got 2 MVPs now. Andy Reid going for that. Again, a lot of guys have won one. Not a lot of guys win multiples. What's the talk around, or if any, around sort of the legacy aspect of this for those two guys?
There's been some. I think mostly about Mahomes. I mean, there's been a little bit with Andy where, hey, if he wins this game, you start looking at him, and maybe you start putting him in that, Bill Walsh category. You start putting him in that Don Shula category. You could. I think it's fair. But I would say most of the talk this week in terms of legacy has been around Mahomes. I was thinking about it today, and if you want to talk about quarterbacks in NFL history, who obviously Super Bowl era here, who have won multiple Super Bowls as a starter and have multiple MVP awards, here's the entire list: Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Joe Montana. That's it. So if Mahomes wins on Sunday, he's number 4. And he's already got a Super Bowl MVP to his name. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He's a 3-time All-Pro, twice first team. I think if they win this game, he wins this game, it's a weird thing to say about a 27-year-old. I think the rest of his career is just about legacy. He's already a first-ballot Hall of Famer. The rest of it's just about, how far he can push it.
Yeah. And, everybody's playing for second behind Brady when it comes to the greatest quarterback ever, but that's not a terrible place. It's not a terrible place to be. Talking with Matt Verderame, NFL insider, Fansided, giving us some time here on the Cash In SportsMap Radio from Phoenix, where it is Super Bowl week, and we're coming near the tail end here as we get ready for the big game on Sunday. But back to Reid just for a second. Is there a sense for how much longer he wants to coach, Matt?
I couldn't put an exact number on it, but I would say this. I mean, I think he just signed a contract extension. I think it was last off season. So, he's in his mid-60s. He always talks about how much he loves the game, enjoys the game. He doesn't have young kids at home at this point. Just he and his wife, Tammy. So, my guess, just from knowing that organization a little bit, kind of getting a sense, I think as long as his health holds up, I think he's probably got about 5 years left in him.
Wow.
Now maybe if they win like this year or next year or something, maybe he would just say, I'm going to go out on a high note. But in terms of how much he's got in him, I think he could go another 4 or 5 years. I think that would be a reasonable amount. And I think, you wonder, is Matt Nagy the head coach in waiting? Because I think Nagy's the guy that's the enemy league. He'll be ascending to offensive coordinator. And there's a decent chance that happens. And if that happens, you wonder if Nagy just says, I'll bide my time and I'll get the back half of Mahomes' career.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that because I was asking that question about Bieniemy the other day because as many jobs as open up, he doesn't wind up getting any of them. So I was starting to wonder if Bieniemy might be the heir apparent to Andy Reid, but you're saying it's Nagy. Bieniemy's
a very weird situation because, personally, I think Eric Bieniemy should have been a head coach years ago.
Yes.
And you get these people who are like, well, he doesn't call plays. Neither did Doug Peterson. I mean, so what? A lot of offensive coordinators don't call plays. I mean, Mike McDaniel wasn't call plays in San Francisco. So I bristle at that. That being said, look, I think with Bieniemy, some of it is, you always hear some people say, well, did you interview well? I think some of that's bogus. I think some of that does have some truth. I mean, he's an intense guy. There's some of that. But I just wonder at this juncture, is he going to get that opportunity? Should, but will he? And if he doesn't, does he want to stay as an offensive coordinator there for years on end, or does he want to try to go somewhere where he can call plays and maybe try to prove it in that regard? Shouldn't have to, but does he? Maybe. He almost didn't come back last year. I was the one who ended up reporting when he came back, but that took months. I mean, he didn't come back to the Chiefs till April last year, if I remember right. Maybe it was a little early then. Maybe it was actually right around. It was right around the combine. It took a little while. Like there was a real thought like he might leave. They allowed him to explore their opportunities. So we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last game.
Matt Verderame, NFL insider over at Fansided. Hopefully your dinner hasn't or your dessert hasn't melted on the table. Enjoy it, my man. I'll be in touch with you when I get into the city tomorrow. Be well.
Sounds good. Take care.
Love that guy. Matt Verderame joining us on the show and getting some thoughts with him on Super Bowl, Phoenix, Glendale. It is there's a lot to be said about the legacy stuff. And we'll get into that coming up here in just a couple of minutes on the show. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. Want to tweet at the show? Go ahead and do it. At the back page. I've said it before. You go look at the number of guys that have won multiple Super Bowls. There's not many. I mean, Andy Reid's got a chance to get into very exclusive company. We'll talk about it on the other side. I'm Jason Page. It's the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. Yes, you saw my face correctly, Dave. You saw my face correctly. Don't do it. Crack me up. Yeah, you just texted me something. Just laughing. Because he could see the video stream of the show, so when he texts me something, he could see my reaction. So it's kind of funny. Let's see. This disclaimer, please bet responsibly on Super Bowl Sunday. It's the biggest sports betting day of the entire year. I forget what the statistics say. How many people bet? How many people bet on the Super Bowl? How many? Let me see here. People bet on the Super Bowl. This is what happens when you produce your own show. This year, a record 50.4 million Americans plan to bet on the Super Bowl, wagering a total of $16 billion. Can you imagine? That's the gambling industry's national trade group has made that prediction. $16 billion. Just be responsible. If you're going to have fun and, put $5 on 10 different bets, that's one thing. Don't go putting money you can't afford on this game. But if you do, put it on the Chiefs. I got to be honest. The further and deeper into this week we've gone, when the week started, I was kind of meh on it. I have talked myself all the way in on the Chiefs now. It's all about Kansas City to me. That's what that Matt Verderame conversation made me feel a whole hell of a lot better. Coming up in 15 minutes, my conversation with Nick Ferguson. He's our 2-for-1 tonight, chatting with him about this Super Bowl. He is high on the Eagles, man. Fly, Eagles, fly. Nick Ferguson is all over the Eagles. So if you are a Chiefs fan, you enjoyed the last segment. If you're an Eagles fan, you'll enjoy the next segment with Nick Ferguson, former NFL safety, telling me why he thinks Philadelphia is going to win. We were talking about legacy a few minutes ago with Matt Verderame. And I'll start with the Andy Reid side of it, because you think about the history of this league, how long the NFL has been around. You know how many guys have won multiple Super Bowls as head coaches? You know how many? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. 13 coaches have won multiple Super Bowls. Whole bunch of guys have won one. But only 13 have won multiple Super Bowls. In the history of coaching, 13 coaches have won multiple Super Bowls. So for me, if Andy Reid does this, he joins the likes of Don Shula, Tom Landry, Bill Parcells, Tom Coughlin, Mike Shanahan, George Seifert, Jimmy Johnson, Tom Flores, Vince Lombardi, as coaches that have won Super Bowls. Right now, Andy Reid, 1-2 in his career as a head coach in the Super Bowl. 2-2 looks a lot better. From a legacy standpoint, when you start talking about, careers, and he'll be a Hall of Famer, but you could be a Hall of Famer and people will still find something to pick at. If you're 1-3, in Super Bowls, you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit a little bit. You're 2-2 in Super Bowls? It's a little bit of a different conversation now. You got 2 of them. The argument could be, you get lucky and win 1. But to win 2, you're not getting lucky and winning 2 of them. And he's got an opportunity to do that on Sunday. Coaches to win 3, Joe Gibbs, Bill Walsh. Only coach that's 4-0 in the Super Bowl is Chuck Noll. And, of course, Bill Belichick, who's been to 9 of them, which is still insane to even fathom. And he is 6-3 in those 9 games. The legacy question for Patrick Mahomes, and having talked about, what he's accomplished, the number of quarterbacks that have won multiple Super Bowls, right? The number of quarterbacks that have won multiple Super Bowls. Tom Brady, Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, Troy Aikman, John Elway, Roger Staubach, Peyton Manning, Bob Greasy, Ben Roethlisberger, Bart Starr, Jim Plunkett, Eli Manning. 12 quarterbacks have won multiple Super Bowls. 13 head coaches have won multiple Super Bowls. 12 quarterbacks. Think about all the quarterbacks to play this game. Patrick Mahomes, in his 6th season in the league, has a chance to get his 2nd Super Bowl already. It's remarkable. And I think Matt Verderame is spot on when he says everything the rest of the way, if he wins this game on Sunday, everything the rest of the way is just about legacy. How far does it go? How much does the legend rise? How many of them can he win? You know, can he win 3, 4? Depends how long he wants to play. And again, I suspect the concussion stuff and seeing what happens to some of these NFL players as they get older. I like to think Patrick Mahomes is a guy that's here for a good time, not a long time. You know, that's my sense, but I could be wrong. He could wind up, deciding he wants to see how far he can take it. Could he be the 2nd greatest quarterback ever? Because nobody's going to top Brady with 7. Bradshaw, 4. I always love how everybody just skips Bradshaw over, by the way, when they talk about the greatest, quarterbacks. Oh, Tom Brady surpassed Joe Montana. Well, Terry Bradshaw's got 4 of them. He's 4-0 in the Super Bowl. Montana's 4-0 in the Super Bowl. And then you got Aikman, who's 3-0 in the Super Bowl. But I always marvel at the fact that Terry Bradshaw, we just think of him as sort of this goofy, old guy who's on the Fox halftime show every Sunday. And I don't know if people appreciate Terry Bradshaw's contributions on the field to the game because it's so far removed. It's generations ago. That's my dad's favorite player. My dad whenever my dad talked about football growing up, he always talked about Terry Bradshaw. Oh, he was goofy. But man, was he good. My dad loved Terry Bradshaw. And then he loved Joe Montana. 1-800-224-2004. You got time to make one last prediction on the Super Bowl. If you got a pick, get it to us. 800-224-2004 or hit me up on Twitter at The Back Page. Again, on Twitter at The Back Page. Love to know what you guys think as far as the Super Bowl is concerned. Coming up in 7 minutes, my conversation with our friend Nick Ferguson, who does a terrific job on the National Football League, former NFL safety, host of the Touchdown Denver podcast. Had a chance to talk to him in the first hour of our show tonight. He is our 2-for-1. You'll get that coming up in about 7 minutes here on the program. NBA, I don't know if it's gone final yet. We didn't do any live betting on the show tonight because my heart's just not in it. I'll be honest. My heart is just not in it. I am all about this Super Bowl on Sunday right now. That's why we've pretty much talked about that the entire show. Cleveland, all over New Orleans, 95-76, late third quarter. Also late third quarter, Oklahoma City 98, Portland 95. Dallas, 9 minutes away from a victory in Sacramento. That'd be a hell of a win without Luka. 104-90, Dallas on top. And the Mavericks getting 23 from Kyrie Irving. He's leading the way, despite just 5 of 14 shooting. 25 points, 10 assists for Kyrie in that game. He's 12 of 12 from the free throw line, which has made all the difference. But Mavericks, I think that game has actually gone final. Sorry about that. 122. Wow, my scoreboard wasn't updated. Eesh. Why didn't you tell me that, Justin? I was reading from an old scoreboard. Gosh. Cleveland, 2:10 to go, fourth quarter. Cleveland all over New Orleans, 118-101. Oklahoma City leads Portland 122-119 late fourth quarter. I should have known because it's way too late for the scores to be in the third quarter. I should have known better. Dallas has beaten Sacramento 122-114. People were probably thinking that they were losing their minds. Me reading from an old scoreboard. Milwaukee up 9 on the Clippers as well. We'll update these before the end of the show. We're coming back with Nick Ferguson on the other side, our former NFL safety, on the cash-in at SportsMap Radio. All right, I got this on my end. Good to have you with us tonight. The Cash In, SportsMap Radio, the SportsMap Radio app. Heading out to Phoenix tomorrow. I'll be there Saturday and Sunday. We're doing our live broadcast Sunday from Desert Diamond Casino, 1 to 4 p.m. local time in Phoenix, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, leading into the big game. We'll have all sorts of Eric Dickerson, among good to have you with us tonight. The Cash In, SportsMap Radio, the SportsMap Radio app. heading out to Phoenix tomorrow. I'll be there Saturday and Sunday. We're doing our live broadcast Sunday from Desert Diamond Casino, 1 to 4 p.m. local time in Phoenix, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, leading into the big game. We'll have all sorts of different people there. Ed Reed, Eric Dickerson, among others, going to come and hang out with us. Rondale Moore will be there. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you can be there too. We'll give you details on that coming up a little later on. But right now, let's head to Phoenix and welcome in my man, Nick Ferguson, who does a terrific job with the Touchdown Denver podcast. He's been on our show all season long talking NFL. Joins us now in the cash-in on SportsMap Radio. All right, how many drinks deep are you right now, Ferguson?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not that type of guy. Right?
They don't have to be alcoholic drinks.
Well, okay. With that being said, I've had two shiny glasses of H2O. How about that?
So you're not a drinker, huh? Good for you.
No, I'm not, man. Hey, they say your body is your temple, man. I got to keep it clean.
I'm not a big alcohol drinker either, but my body's not clean. So in terms of being a temple, that's what my doctor told me on Monday. So I gotta start living a healthier life. I'm gonna have to go on the Nick Ferguson diet.
There you go. That's all you have to do.
All right, so here we are. We've gone through the entire week. You've been there in Phoenix. What are you hearing on the ground? What seems to be the consensus?
Well, as it pertains to this week's game, believe it or not, man, the city is hot in Arizona on the Philadelphia Eagles. Everyone is talking about how well they are running the ball, and that, to me, that's a big situation, especially playing defense. Because when you're able to run the ball, we're talking about ball control football. That you're creating balance. You put the defense on their heels. But also, here's the biggest thing. You're keeping Patrick Mahomes on the sideline with the ball cap on. When he's on the sideline, he can't throw a pass and he can't hurt you, which means as though Travis Kelce can't score at the same time. So everyone is feeling that same way. Obviously, you still have some who are saying that this could be a blowout by the Chiefs. I don't really see how that can be something that we can expect. But I look at it like a heavyweight fight, right? It is Rocky Balboa versus Clubber Lang, if you will. And that doesn't necessarily mean that this game will end up like Rocky 3 actually ended up. But it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be great defensive play. And hopefully it is not one of those games either way that we are turning it off right after halftime.
I got to tell you, and you might disagree with my opinion because it sounds like you're on Philadelphia. Here's the thing. Everybody talks about this Philadelphia defense, and I know how good it is. But when you stack up these two teams and the body of work over 17 games this season, Kansas City's body of work is more impressive to me. What Kansas City did, the teams they beat, the defenses, the good defenses that this team hung 37 up on or 44 up on. When I look at this Kansas City team, I have the body of work. I have the resume that makes it easier for me to say they're going to win this game. Great season for Philadelphia. 14-3 is wonderful. But when you go and look at who they beat, and then you look at the postseason, yeah, they beat the Giants. That was a layup. And then, okay, they beat the 49ers, but Brock Purdy's out and they're on their third quarterback by the time you get to the fourth quarter. I haven't seen enough of this Philadelphia team tested, under pressure. I want to see them down 14-3, middle of the second quarter, and then we're going to find out. And I think it could happen. Then we're going to find out. Is Jalen Hurts really the quarterback everybody thinks he is? Is he going to be able to make the throws in the big spot? I don't think he is. I think he crumbles on Sunday. I really do.
Wait a minute. Am I talking to Jason Cage or am I talking to a Dallas Cowboys fan?
No, and I am not a Cowboys fan.
Well, you spoke just like as though you were a Cowboys fan. Let me tell you what it is that I see. I know the idea is that they have not played quality teams down the stretch. You can't do anything about that. I'm going to go back to the San Francisco 49ers game. that was an elite defense that they played against. We can look at what happened on offense with Brock Purdy, but this is where I feel as though Philadelphia Eagles still have the edge. In that game against one of the talented defenses in the league, they ran the ball. So that meant that, hey, they knew that Brock Purdy could not throw the ball, so they didn't have to chase points. Their wide receivers did not get involved in the game plan. So they ran the ball once, they ran it twice, and they ran it 4, 5, and 6 times. The 49ers knew the ball was coming down their throat, and they could not stop it. When you get to the stage of the playoffs or the Super Bowl, those teams, once again, that can run the ball and play ball control, keep it with offense, those are the teams that usually win because, yeah, you look at, Patrick Mahomes. Have they had to readjust their strategy after Tyreek Hill was gone? Absolutely. Yes, and did they do it well? Great. But I look at some of the games that they played, and they were not blowing teams out like they used to. The two games they played the Denver Broncos arguably could have been won by the Broncos. Arguably. When we look at the game against the Cincinnati Bengals, if it wasn't for Chris Jones getting that sack on Joe Burrow, the Bengals moved the ball down the field, kicked the field goal, and the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. So when you look at this Kansas City team, it is not the same. They're not dominating like they used to. So that's why Philadelphia still has an opportunity. When you look at which team has the better defense, now you can argue with it, and you may have your points that you may put together. I still feel as though Philly has the better of the defensive units that's playing the game on Sunday.
Yeah, you're judging. Here's the thing, though. You're judging Kansas City. And do me a favor. Hold your phone away a little bit because you're a little muffled. But here's the thing that you're doing. You're judging the Kansas City Chiefs, but they're playing against a better level of competition. So you say they're not blowing, teams out the way that maybe Philadelphia does. It's because the AFC is better.
Wait. So that is your only, I guess, go-to. The AFC is much better.
It is.
Right? Well, you may have some better quarterbacks in the AFC. And I'm not going to say that Daniel Jones was just kind of mincemeat because, they beat Minnesota, and I know how you feel about that. And Brian Dable just received, the Coach of the Year. So they were doing something that was worthwhile. Once again, looking at where the Broncos finished, and we both can agree that they were not as good as they needed to be.
Hot garbage.
And the offense struggled. They struggled a lot this year, but they put up on I'm not going to say back-to-back games, but in 2 games, they put up almost 40 points on the Kansas City Chiefs defense. So for me, I'm looking at what Philly has been able to do, and I'm looking at what more of a complete team. If you want to ask, I'm going to ask you, of everything that we just both discussed right now, which team is more of a complete team? Which one? Kansas City or Philadelphia? Which one?
I think it's Philadelphia if you buy in to the idea that Jalen Hurts is what everybody thinks he is, and I'm still not sold on that. He's going to have to. He's going to have to. He's going to have to make plays. He's going to have to make plays in this game.
Has he not done that? Has he not done that? Or are you just being so biased that you don't want to see it?
I just don't. Again, from a resume and a body, if you've got 2 teams that are this closely matched, I'm going with if you've got 2 teams that are this closely matched, I'm going with the quarterback that's won one and 2 MVPs, and I'm going with the head coach who's done it.
Oh, come on.
I'm doing it.
Listen. Jalen Hurts was in the MVP race. He missed a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden he's kicked to the curb. So everything he did up until that point, everyone just kind of dismissed. And then Patrick Mahomes was a clear favorite and ran away with it, right? But think about it. What he was doing. Last year, people left him for dead. They criticized him, but the guy kept playing. He kept playing, and he was in an MVP conversation. You cannot overlook that. And again, I get it. Patrick Mahomes has won one. He's been to 2, right? But don't dismiss what Hurts has done. The Eagles are not here without Jalen Hurts. They're not. They're not here, but they are, and they're going to kick butt on Sunday.
All right. So the official Nick. Yep.
Yeah.
The official Nick Ferguson prediction is Philadelphia.
You got it right. That's right. Mark it on your calendar.
Hey, I gotta go, but I hope I get to see you tomorrow because I'm getting into Phoenix, and hopefully we get to meet up for a few.
All right, man. I'll be here.
We can argue it out then. Goodbye, Nick.
All right, man. Be good.
All right, have a good time. Don't drink too much of that water. We're coming back. My goal is to get to bed by midnight. See if it happens. It's not that. I got to pack up all the equipment. Like, my whole broadcast setup has to be packed up. It's a lot of shit. Yeah, a lot of shit. Yeah, we're driving. I mean, it would fit. It fits. It would fit. It would all fit in a duffel bag. Like, it's not that much equipment. Thank you, Chad Erickson. Good to have you all with us tonight. Getting set to put the wraps on this baby. Again, a reminder, Sunday, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, we will come to you live from Desert Diamond Casino in Glendale, Arizona, a special edition of the Cash In with Jason Page. Countdown to kickoff. We will get you all set for the Super Bowl, and really looking forward to it. A ton of guests scheduled to stop by the show. Eric Dickerson, Christian Okoye, Rondale Moore. How about Ed Reed and Cedric Ceballos are actually going to be DJing? It's going to be awesome. They'll all stop by, hang out with us on the show. So looking forward to that. Who knows? Might be some surprises as well. If you are in the Phoenix area, especially our friends listening on KDUS in Phoenix, you can come. It's a Super Bowl watch party at Desert Diamond Casino. It's at Desert Diamond Arena from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. And while it's by invite only, you can actually be a part of the party. All you got to do is make a $200 wager, which hopefully you're going to win anyway, and you get access to the party. Free food, drinks, games, prizes, chances to win stuff. It's going to be a blast. Plus, you get to see me, and that's a good enough reason to stop by all unto itself. Desert Diamond Casino at Desert Diamond Arena on Sunday, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. We will be live on the air 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Phoenix time, which is Mountain Time. So look forward to seeing you all out there for what should be a really fun show this Sunday. 1-800-224-2004 in the closing minutes if you've got a thought on the big game, a prediction. We gave ours earlier in the show. We have told you who is going to win. It's a wrap. All right, maybe not that crazy. Kansas City plus 1.5, and we like the under 50.5. Can't wait to be there hanging out with all you guys on Sunday for this Super Bowl. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you haven't done so yet, this is the last time I'm going to be able to tell you on this show. You've got basically 2 more days to go to playfortickets.com and sign up for their $1 million big game challenge. The playfortickets.com $1 million big game challenge. All you got to do is go to playfortickets.com, sign up. It's free to enter. It's free to join. Then you go and make your pick for the big game on Sunday between the Chiefs and the Eagles. And if you can pick the game, the total, and a whole bunch of prop bets, you're going to win $1 million. If you haven't gone and done this yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Playfortickets.com. Go and sign up right now. The free-to-play $1 million big game challenge. 21 and over to play. Terms and conditions apply. $1 million big game challenge. Terms and conditions apply. Go over there right now. Playfortickets.com. Sign up today. All right, some odds and ends before we leave you. Crazy story out of New Mexico State men's basketball tonight. The program has been shut down. The team canceled Saturday's game at Cal Baptist, suspended the season indefinitely following new allegations within the program. Statement put out by the school talks about new allegations involving multiple players being allegedly investigated for their role in hazing attacks on a teammate on more than one occasion. Stadium has first reported this. The school said in the statement, new allegations have prompted an investigation by the university and led to the coaching staff being put on paid administrative leave. The Aggies have been in this controversy since November, when forward Mike Peake shot and killed a New Mexico student in Albuquerque in what police called a self-defense case after Peake had been lured to the campus Per the school's statement, Friday's decision to suspend the season is separate from that case. The team put out a program. Greg Hare's first season there as head coach, the team is 9-15. So really crazy story. And I don't know how the WAC is going to adjust all the schedule as a result of the shutdown. They're looking at the situation, but there's no room for this stuff. There's no room for hazing. I mean, my God. Is this the 80s? I mean, good grief. You gotta be kidding me. Still talking about hazing stories all these years later. I thought so much of that stuff had been put to rest, but clearly it is not. NBA story. One of the big deals at the trade deadline was Gary Payton II going back to the Golden State Warriors. Well, that deal is on hold right now. And it's frankly at risk. And it's a 4-team deal, so there's a lot going on here. So there are concerns over Gary Payton II's physical exam. And that 4-team deal with the Warriors, Pistons, Hawks, and Blazers may not happen now. The Warriors have until Saturday to go through with the deal or rescind the entire trade. No amendments to the deal can be made because the trade deadline is passed. I think that's kind of a stupid rule, by the way. I mean, fine, the official trade deadline is passed, but the deal is still going on. It's not like they're trying to add something fancy to it. I mean, if the guy's hurt, the guy's hurt. The trade had the Warriors sending James Wiseman to the Pistons for Sadiq Bey and Kevin Knox. The Hawks were sending 5 second-round picks to the Warriors for Bey. And then the Warriors were sending Knox and those second-round picks to Portland for Payton. So apparently, all of this goes back to an abdominal injury that Payton had over the summer where he had surgery, kept him out of the Blazers' first 35 games of the year. He came back to the court in early January, most recently played 22 minutes against the Warriors on Wednesday. Blazers GM Joe Cronin said at a news conference earlier today that Payton had been cleared to play and the team was confident he was healthy. We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know how. If you're the Warriors and you rescind this deal and you have to bring back James Wiseman after you basically just told the kid you gave up on him, I don't know how you do that. You almost have to accept the deal. You almost have to accept the deal because James Wiseman's going to be so damaged at that point. Oh, we just wanted to get rid of you. Oh, welcome back. Can you imagine how awkward that's going to be for those two sides? It's crazy. The Astros have signed one of their World Series heroes. Christian Javier gets a 5-year extension through 2027. And let me tell you, it is a favorable deal for the Astros because this kid's going to be good for a long time. 5-year deal. Runs through 2027, $64 million, includes a $2 million signing bonus. I mean, that's a very team-friendly deal. He's got a trade block in there. There are 10 teams he can't be traded to without his approval. And had an amazing postseason. Started a pair of no-hitters. Asked for $3.5 million in arbitration, had been offered $3 million. He made $749,000 last year. This is obviously a big upgrade over that. So Christian Javier gets a great deal, a very team-friendly deal, but a great deal for that young man, and well-deserved. He had a terrific year in 2022. So that's going to do it. We're done. The cash-in for this Friday, February the 10th, is in the books. Now we get ready for Super Bowl Sunday. I'll see you all out on Sunday at Desert Diamond Casino, the Desert Diamond Arena. Again, we are on the air live there from 1 to 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, 12 to 3 p.m. Pacific. Great guests, food, drinks, games, a Super Bowl watch party. And if you're not on the invite list, all you got to do, Make a $200 wager at the casino. You're going to go bet on the game anyway. Go to Desert Diamond Casino, place a wager on the game, come hang out with us at the party. It's going to be fun. Be great to meet you all out there. Nice job this week, Justin Barbosa, producing and engineering it back in Houston. Thanks to all of our guests, especially tonight, Matt Verderame and Nick Ferguson. I'm Jason Page. Enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. We'll talk to you on Sunday. I'm Jason Page. Thanks for listening to the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. Bye! All right, dude. Have a great night. All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you next week. Bye. Oh. I said I'm Jason Page twice in the final 10 seconds of the show. Nice. Everybody, thanks for watching. Everybody have a great week. Again, Sunday, the show will be exclusively on Twitch. So if you don't have Twitch, go get it. Jason Page 77 is my handle there. We'll see you on Sunday from Glendale, Arizona. Look forward to it. Thanks for hanging out, watching the Cash In. See y'all later.